All right, welcome. We are live. Welcome to 6G Agenda. How we all doing today? Boy, I sound loud today. All right. Welcome to 6G Agenda. I'm your host Andrew, as always, here to talk about what they won't. And yeah, another nice weekender stream going on today. Weekend Warriors, as always. I want to switch it up a little bit from what we've been talking about, but I mean, it's not really that much different. It's pretty along the lines of everything that we've been discussing, but just from a different topic involved in it. And that's food and water, the farms, the water. I've kind of touched on it recently as far as data centers go with the water, and I think that we should get deeper on the farms. With the Strait of Hormuz closing and fertilizer being at a bottleneck right now, but little not many people know that actually the farmers weren't receiving a lot of their fertilizer before this war started. So there's a backtrack of, you know, things to go over a little bit. But first, I wanted to actually talk about something else. There's a lot going on right now. So I'm going to pull this up and we'll talk about it. But welcome in everybody. How we doing? Happy Saturday. Doing a little it's not late, but it's not early episode on a Saturday tonight. Thanks for joining. Jeezy, Alquium, how we doing? How we doing? And we got TNT. What's up? What's up? Tim Westhoff. He said, Westhoff. Hope we're not too close to the food collapse yet. My garden is just finally starting to get close to producing. They've been blapping us with harp in Florida. Bad drought. Man, I wish I had my own food growing. For somebody that talks about this stuff, you would think I had my shit put together and all together. But, I've been in the process of realizing what's going on and wanting to talk about what's going on. But I never quite got myself all together. Okay. I'm not gonna lie and act like I got my shit together. So working on it, working on it. Morpheus, how we doing today, man? Welcome in, everybody. Great community. Love having you guys here. Love hanging out with you guys. We've always got some fire topics, I think, that we talk about. And they're always deep dives and they're always angles that people don't talk about. And I don't even try. I do remain very, humble and always try to make this better. And I always think that there's so much room for improvement with this show. But I do think nonetheless that it's good to pat ourselves on the back when it's time. And so, with that being said, I want to show you guys this because you guys, I'm sure, have been watching this show for a while. And so, you know about what I think is going on with Tucker and this exposure gate, which we've talked about exposure gate, and this idea of, just kind of this savior third party that's coming that's going to save people. Now, with that being said, Harrison Smith posted 4 hours ago. This is the perfect time to start a third party. For the first time in history, there is a position that will draw equally from the left and right. That's what I've been saying, the anti Zionist crowd. Since both the Democrats and Republicans have a base that is anti Israel and leadership that is pro Israel. Yes, because the CIA has been running game to make us anti Israel. And I'm not saying that they haven't done anything wrong. You guys know that we can hold two things in our head at once. They're exposing real corruption, they're exposing real things going on, like Israel and whatnot. But this savior party is not going to be what you think, and it's going to be the techno monarchy that we talk about. So Ian Carroll says yes. And of course, I go, no. That's what the whole angle is here. I've been saying for a while. There are people like Tucker positioning themselves as yet another savior to usher in this technocratic monarchy via this third party. This is what I believe to be the end game. Only time will tell. So we'll see. Your boy's getting shadow banned as always, but that's okay. We will see what happens. I'm fucking popping through it though. So they can't stop me forever. I'm going to pop through it. King of Kings made it, dude. Salute to my man, King of Kings. He's a member, so I got to give him that fucking star. I'm just kidding, dude. He's longtime listener. That's my dog. Welcome in. He's had some great research. King of Kings. Do you remember you sent me on Patreon? You sent me that patent, and I went over it recently about the Bitcoin and data monitoring for your body movement. Did you notice that patent? I believe that's the one that was the 666 Microsoft patent. I don't know if you noticed that. Maybe you did, but I forgot to mention that part whenever I was in there. So very interesting. Very interesting. I wonder if you caught that. How we doing, Nebrock? What's up? Start my own sovereign nation. Hell yeah, dog. Be careful. The sheriffs don't like that. They do not love that. So another thing I want to kind of mention before we get started on the water and food shortage, I wanted to bring this up as well. Hold on, let me pull it up. So this is a MAGA influencer, Craig Long. Hold on, let me stop this video. Shit. Okay. So this is a MAGA influencer right here, Craig Long. This was on April 11th, 2026. So this was earlier this month. Or I'm sorry, last month. It is now May 2nd. Today, while we're streaming this. If you're hearing this, then it's about a week, a little bit less than a week later. If you want to get these streams live, come on over to YouTube. Come on over to Patreon. I'm going to try to work on getting this streamed out to Patreon as well. And yeah, come check us out so you don't have to wait until it's on the free feed. But either way, this is a MAGA influencer, Craig Long, and he's been arrested after being caught in a human sex trafficking sting operation. The accused sex trafficker was just pictured with Donald Trump and Trump Jr. at a UFC fight in Miami on April 11th this year. Now, I get it. It doesn't mean that he did anything, Trump knows or anything. But I'm just saying, it's a little odd. I feel like it's worth pointing out. Let's listen to this.
Long we arrested. He's 41. Some of you may recognize him. He's an influencer. He also owns Craig Long Fitness in Tampa. He was seeking the services of a prostitute. Did I tell you that he's married?
All right, well, this is weird. So I'm curious, like, if he was seeking the service of a prostitute, how did he get caught in a human sex trafficking operation? So it was a sting operation led by human sex trafficking operatives, but I wonder if he was actually sex trafficking. So take that with a grain of salt for now until we get more information. You know how people like to, do that shit. It sounds like he was soliciting a hooker, and so that's a little bit different. But maybe she was underage. Who knows? I don't know. We'll look more into it, but that's interesting. That came out today. It's not necessarily on topic, though. So let's get into some of the stuff that brought me into this topic today. So I don't know if you guys saw. I'm sharing? Cool. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Arizona, Phoenix, announces that they are preparing for a new water restrictions that's going to be including charging people who use a lot of water due to a shortage of water. Meanwhile, Arizona's allowed up to 24 different, up to 30 data centers. Arizona's experiencing major data center boom right now, and the shortage of water is due to a serious cut to the Colorado River supply, which has been ongoing for a while. And the city of Phoenix is anticipating serious cuts to their water supply in the Colorado River, saying that they cannot conserve their way out of the problem of this magnitude. So why are you building data centers there then? Because it's an anti-human movement. That's why, in my opinion. So the Water Service Department announced by the end of the year, Phoenix will be likely to enter stage 2 of this plan, where they will be using this backup water supply that they have to meet the demand. So this might include additional conservation education, water audits, and incentives and rebates to ensure efficient use of the water. It gets darker as we go. This is kind of what started me on this journey, but as we go here, there's a lot of dark shit that's kind of just surrounding the food and water where I'm just like, man, this is crazy. So let me lay a little bit of context as well. Now, I want to look this up before I go talk out of my ass here, because there's a part of me that I meant to look this up before the show, actually. Just because, I hate to say this, but let's find out before I say it. So Francis Bacon, well, son of a bitch. Did he, I'm almost positive he wrote for the King James. Okay, Francis Bacon. Okay, whatever. So anyway, I think that a lot of Revelation is the elites acting out their own theatrical kind of script in a weird way. And that's kind of what I was going to say. I won't tie Francis Bacon to this. I won't say anything about the King James Bible. I won't say anything about Freemasons. But there's a theory out there that a lot of this Revelation stuff has a lot to do with that. It's been mucked And I know a lot of Christians don't like to hear that, especially because, obviously there's a prophecy by John. I get it. But I'm just saying there's an aspect to this where it could be that even if it is a true prophecy, they're acting out some of this as a Masonic theater. So that could still be true at the same time, even if it is a real book in the Bible. That's kind of what I'm trying to say. So let's look at this. These are the things. Ignore my hold on one second. Okay. After the white horse. So this talks about representing the conquest, the Antichrist in Revelation 6. There's a tribulation sequence, and the second horseman rides out on a red horse. This rider represents war and the taking of peace from earth. Now, according to the book of Revelation, the progress of the four horsemen is this. The white horse, that's the one we just mentioned, the Antichrist bringing false peace. The red horse, and that it would be war, the second seal, and this is bloodshed and global conflict. The black horse is famine. The third seal, this caused severe food shortage. Now, I'm not saying that Revelation's happening, but I'm saying if you're going to try to enact a Masonic theater for Revelation, people think we're already like in the Antichrist phase right now. And then, of course, the global conflict phase is happening currently. They're setting up for a food shortage. If you pay attention, that's what we're talking about now. That is the black horse, the famine horse, the third seal, which causes severe food shortage. And then, of course, the pale horse, the fourth seal, which is resulting in massive death by war, famine, and plague, which kills 25% of the earth. Now, I don't want to say we. A lot of people believe that we're approaching at least what seems like the end times when it comes to Revelation. I think that if there's a chance that could be true, but definitely we're approaching it seemingly seems that way because there's some kind of forced Masonic theater that I think is going on by elites. And I do think they plan to kill 25% of the earth through plagues, war, and famine. So this is how they get the New World Order. So with that being said, we're in the war phase, and it seems like they're setting up for the food and water phase. So let's move on to this other water stuff I had. Farm as well. So this is the U.S. Secretary of Agriculture that confirmed publicly 1 in 4 Americans has no secure fertilizer for spring planting. So no fertilizer, no crops, no food. Farm bankruptcies have risen 45% in 2025. In America, 160,000 farms have shut down in 2017. So that's leading up to now. So that's already 9 years ago. And so this is a compounding issue. Less than half of farmers will even turn a profit this year, and they're not struggling, they're being annihilated. Now, Palantir just got a major deal with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, and farmers can't even fix their tractors without, taking it to a place so they can work on it. Like, they can't do anything without having ultra regulation. They're regulating them to death so they can't afford to do farming. So this is kind of the map of how bad it is. And yeah, man, it's right where I'm at. So that's great. Critical red zone. That's where I'm at. That's cool. So I wonder if that affects, yeah, of course it does. So now you guys remember Argentina, the soybean issue with China, right? Like, so China stopped buying soybeans from us and they started buying them from Argentina. China buys Argentinian soybeans after the tax drop. This was September 24, 2025. You guys remember this? So this leaves U.S. farmers sidelined. You see how it's a compounding issue. And then, of course, the Argentinian beef. Trump says that we're going to buy beef from them instead of Trump admin targets beef prices and supply chain. Hold on, let me see here. Trump, Argentina beef deals angers. America's struggling. Hold on here. Because Trump did plan to, Trump, Argentina beef deal angers America's struggling farmers. This is the one I'm referring to. You're selling us out. So Trump decides I'm going to go buy beef from Argentina, even though like 1 in 5 of the cows down there have like terrible diseases. So President Trump said that this week he loved America's cattle ranchers, but those farmers overwhelmingly supported Trump in 2024 elections say they are not feeling the love right now. Trump is facing criticism from many cattle ranchers after signaling support for increased low-tariff beef imports from Argentina. This would ease record beef prices in the United States, but it kills the farmers. And the move comes just a week after the U.S. soybean farmers blasted a separate deal with Argentina that they fear will give. Now, again, this is moves for Israel, right? So I could show you videos where Netanyahu's like, what are we going to do about Greenland? And then Trump's talking about Greenland. Cuba, Trump saying he's going to take over Cuba. Immediately, he says. He's building the technate. Now, the thing with Tucker has made an argument for taking Canada and Mexico and Greenland over. He's saying we should. Why not? He's saying we don't need to go over in the Middle East, though. So see how Tucker's kind of on the same page as Trump, but he's acting like he isn't? You just got to listen to these people, like what they're really saying. It's crazy. So anyway, point being, the farm situation is a compounding interest issue that's been going on since last year and before. 2017, we lost 150,000 farms. So another arms deal sale for Israel. As we're talking about some of this, I'll kind of move past that. 46 million acres of American farmland are now foreign owned. So then that's another thing that we have going on with this. So adversaries are buying in. And this was on April 29th. So this is recent. So the Farm, Food, and National Security Act, the Farm Bill, treats American agriculture as what it is, a national security priority. Cracks down on foreign investment in farmland. Oh, okay. So they're proposing this deal to try to crack down on this. Well, great. But you guys, it's going to be too late. See how they're acting like they're going to stop. I mean, the fertilizer issue is kind of more of an issue. We're losing out on ways to keep the crop going. So doesn't really matter who owns it. So this is another kind of thing that we've talked about, obviously, very recently on the show. The human soul. So this is a AI encrypted neural manipulation network that's designed to hijack the human soul through frequency modulation. Now, this is exactly what the digital temple concept is that we've been kind of talking about for a while now. So crazy. It's just so many things are coming out that everything we've talked about that was crazy theories are now coming true.
Project called Operation Spectrum, using ultrasonic and electromagnetic frequencies to subtly influence people's thoughts, emotions, and actions, all without them realizing it. Certain frequencies have been found to cause everything from mild anxiety and discomfort to calmness and even compliance. By adjusting the frequency output.
Compliance is a big one. Oops. Yep, it's funny that this digital temple thing is real. So it all comes together. It's one big movement. But the government knows your acreage, your loans, the conservation history. This Palantir database, independent ranchers selling direct to consumers don't have to live in this file. Find them at beefmaps.com. So this is just talking about how there's a Palantir database, and I guess this is a way to get out of it. Find your rancher, taste the difference. Whoa, is that an Israeli flag there? No, it's not. So this is something that's going against the Palantir regime. So at least there's some pushback. So I hate to jump around a little bit, but another thing that I was saying was this White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting. A lot of it, with him being a teacher and everything, and then Melania Trump talking about teachers and how, we need to have AI training and teaching our children. It's funny that they're saying this now out loud. Watch this.
So I pay a lot of attention to the latest technology, and AI has me very excited from an efficiency standpoint as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. But for education, I see tremendous potential, mostly for parental empowerment and helping teachers. Someone who runs schools, we've always wanted teachers to have a teaching assistant in every classroom. This gives them 12 teaching assistants or more, and is really going to help the teachers focus on the things that only they can do. Inspiring passion in children and teaching from an expertise that only they have and can convey. But all of the other things that they have to do are going to be helped tremendously by AI. So I pay a lot of attention to the latest technology, and AI has me very excited from a.
Yeah, the Melania Trump, and then she's got all the kids running around with the Oculus is on in front of the White House. Let me see if I can find that. They had like VR headsets on. Let's see if I can find this. Yeah, here we go. Look at this. Can't play the music. I'm gonna get copyright. Look at this, dude. All these kids. This is perfect for like rich people. They just got their kids running around with the fucking headset on their head. It's looking like goofballs. It's ridiculous. Now, Oculus, is very similar to the device that they used during the KGB, like mind training or mind wash, brainwashing experiments. They had something that looks super similar to the Oculus. So I think that's hilarious that it's the same looking device that they're putting on their heads now for this VR set. It seems to be exactly like this mind control device that I saw in a CIA document from a long time ago. So anyway, back on the topic, USDA allows Palantir to embed itself into farming. The USDA, our privacy rights, our civil rights still protected with a contracted surveillance agency. If you control the food, you control the people. Palantir.
The people. The USDA and Palantir just signed a $300 million deal to centralize all farmer data, bringing Palantir's government contracts to over $6 billion. The company was named after the all-seeing Palantiri stones from The Lord of the Rings by Palantir's founder, Peter Thiel, as a deliberate reference to the ability to gaze across vast distances to track friends and foes, which is important context considering the new system they are implementing with the USDA is called One Farmer, One File, combining records into one digital profile for each farmer. And it arrives just one day after a watchdog group sued 5 different agencies over similar Palantir surveillance system. This is all extremely important considering the food system consolidation is obvious at this point on a physical level. We know just a few firms are controlling beef, seeds, grocery market, but this is an unprecedented form of consolidation for the food system. It is entirely informational, farm payments, acreage reporting, program access, and support all run through one private platform. Palantir's use case here is very specific, turning fragmented data into actionable surveillance. And so many feel they are now effectively monopolizing the data for the entire food system, meaning everything from policy, subsidy, and compliance will flow through.
One thing that annoys me about a lot of these videos, I love when people break stuff down, but it's like annoying whenever I know that they're just reading like AI breakdowns. So they also made it illegal to own or buy, I believe. Is it buy or own? Non-GMO seeds. Where did I see that? Just saw that. Where did I see that? It's going to be like illegal. Nor organic and under are not the same. Where did I see that? Just the other day. Maybe I worded it the wrong way. Maybe it's banned. Like, I want to say that Bill Gates had something to do with it. Countries that ban GMOs, countries that ban... Mexico bans planting of genetically modified American seeds. Dude, I swear just the other day I saw something that had to do with... Maybe it's one of those things that hasn't really been done, so it's no big deal, obviously. So somebody said something stupid and it got put on social media, probably. That was it. Nothing to worry about yet. Donald Trump has announced that the United States will be taking control of Cuba. That's what I mentioned earlier. I'll go ahead and let you hear it for yourself. He's insane, dude.
And he comes from originally a place called Cuba, which we will be taking over almost immediately.
Hell yeah. Just can't help himself. So there's that, $300 million deal with the USDA safeguard food supply, one farm, one file. I'll move past that one for a minute. So let's look at a little bit more of the water stuff. There's flooding, the droughts, the climate crisis. Is it inextricably linked to water? Public partnerships can unlock innovative solutions to the water crisis and create a more sustainable future for all. This was the World Economic Forum. And in 2023, this account I follow, Shadow of Ezra, he said, how many floods in how many countries lately? The World Economic Forum has declared the water is in crisis. Future wars will be fought over water. Watch the water. Ahead of his time there. I had to save that. He's ahead of his time. So, well, fuck it. I guess I'll talk about this too, since we're kind of just talking about energy crisis is involved with this as well. Speaking of energy, the Department of Energy is actively coordinating the demolition and controlled detonation of the underground facilities within the Nevada Test and Training Range, also known as Area 51. So there's been a swarm of earthquakes in California, in Nevada area, pardon me, with these in 24 hours, dozens of earthquakes. So allegedly this is they're, breaking down the labs they have. It's crazy. Insane. I've been seeing a lot of people post about how they keep hearing earthquake or feeling earthquakes and stuff around there. So yeah, I think it's real. It's pretty wild. We'll get back to some of this stuff. I'll check on the chat, see how you guys are doing. See how we're all doing. Netfunner, what up? What up? 3 pounds of ground beef here is like $20. It's insane, dude. It's absolutely insane. World controllers are staging things to look like a coming antichrist and tribulation. That's exactly right. See, King of Kings knows what I was trying to say. How would they record or regulate the amount of water you collect? Well, they do already. I mean, I guess, because it's hard to, I guess, know if you have like wells and stuff. But, I mean, people aren't, they're not taking that much water out of the ground through wells. I think that it's more like how much you use for water. Like you have a meter on your home, right? So if you're taking showers, like everything's getting metered on your home. So they're knowing exactly how much you're doing. So it's not about collecting water. I don't think they could regulate that. They could try. I mean, there's regulations out there about collecting water, but it's like, fuck you, I'm going to do it anyway. That's kind of how I feel about it. The only, funny you mentioned rich kids, they only do textbooks and pencils, no tech. Ain't that something? Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, you're exactly right. Except for that, it was weird to see Melania Trump having her kids with Oculuses on their heads like that. I think that was more of a publicity stunt. Those kids probably have never had one of those on their head ever, and probably never will again. But like just for that video, so they could get like poor people to be like, "Oh look, they got it on. We should do it." Farmers can't plant their own seeds. Is that real? Holy shit! Let's look into that. Maybe that's something I saw that was related to what I was looking up. You must have seen what I seen. Intellectual property rights and seed patents. Farmers cannot plant their own seeds, primarily due to the intellectual property rights and seed patents. Wow. So when farmers purchase patented seeds, they're required to sign contracts. So can they not? Oh, so they have to buy patented seeds, because that comes down to the Project Lucid, where we talked about everything has to be ISO certified, international standards. So everything has to have a number attached to it. And so I bet you they all need to have patented seeds that. But what else? Biotechnology and patenting of seeds has led to significant legal restrictions on farmers' abilities to save and replant their own seeds. That's what this was. Wow. That's so crazy, dude. Thank you for that. That's exactly what I was looking for. Let me go ahead and pull that up so everybody could see. So why can't farmers legally replant? Jesus Christ. These pop-ups are crazy. Why can't farmers legally replant their own seeds, understanding the complexities of seed patenting and agricultural law? We're good on that. We get it. You guys are just trying to fuck people over. I mean, it's just a matter of massive regulations. That way it's almost impossible to keep it going without the government doing it themselves. 70% of farmers can't afford to grow all their own crops or all their crops. So the war on Iran and impact on oil and energy have continued. Gas hits $4.12 a gallon. Dude, look at this. These people, man. The pop-ups they send you. Oh my God. Anyway. it could also get worse, not only creeping up towards 2022 price, but rise to what? Yeah, they're talking about energy cost and oil. Even with the current higher cost, in real terms, after inflation, it's more like returning to the price of 30 years ago. What? But it still hurts consumers. Dude, they're retarded, man. Sometimes I just see the way they try to say things is crazy. It's like, dude, nothing's like 30 years ago if everything costs more than it costs. So modern nitrogen gas-based fertilizers are strongly connected to the oil. When oil prices rise, so do fertilizer prices. As a result, the price of food. So these are organic forms of fertilizers, but the scaled up majority in the US are the ones connected to oil. So this conflict in the Middle East has had a strong impact on the price and availability of oil, which of course is having an impact on the nitrogen and fertilizers. So fertilizer pre-booking rates varied significantly by region. 19% of the southern producers reporting fertilizer purchases secured ahead of the season compared to 30% of the Northeast. Yeah, okay. Let's talk about fucking where we at. It's just all prices here. If farmers can't afford to buy all the fertilizer they need, they will likely produce fewer crops, which reduces supply while demand stays high. Now, here we are again, manufacturing a food shortage. This is the basis of what we're talking about here, and it's economic, hooblob. But at the end of the day, we know what's going on. It's pretty much simple. They're manufacturing food shortages. If we take over Cuba, that means they're going to become American. Then we can never stop letting them in. That's hilarious. Yeah, I guess that's true. Word is Trump has some kind of dementia. Yeah, I've heard that. Some insiders are saying that he does have some mid stages, not even early stages, like mid stages. It doesn't affect your cognitive function, but affects what you believe is the truth. Dude, I don't know, man. I think they're also just trying to blame it on like something too. There's a part of that where they're like, oh, he's just old and losing it. It's a cop-out at some point. What else do we got in here in this chat here? Monsanto. Always is, Neff. We got a Monsanto here in St. Louis. We got everything here. We have Geospatial Institute, Monsanto, we got Boeing. Everything great. Bush, a little bit of Bush, Budweiser. They might as well call it New World Order approval. That's the ISO international certified. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. And that's all it is. It's we need everything labeled, barcoded so we can track, code, surveil everything. And then including what you do every day, the whole deal, right? So that's kind of what we're talking about here. So in the end, the seeds spread all over and the thing ended, all crops are patented. Well, the thing is that I worry about is like the more that we keep using these seeds that aren't real, and by not real, I mean just GMO seeds, the less we're going to have. I mean, we have no nutrition in our food because we're using like, thousandth generational seeds, where it's not like first generation seeds where you're getting maximum nutritional value. Blessings, Oscar. How you doing, brother? How we all doing? Plastic in the food and in our brain. Crazy. Sounds like communist rations. That's where we're heading. Yeah, I hope not, but that is exactly what it seems like. So let's keep going. We got plenty more here to talk about. So the World Economic Forum now admits that their climate change push has fallen flat and says that the next global agenda will be a manufactured water crisis. She even admitted that they couldn't vaccinate the entire world, but argued that water is something everyone can grasp, even children. Let's check it out. The writing's been on the wall.
In our nation and globally. And did we solve that? Like, did we actually manage to vaccinate everyone in the world? No. So highlighting water as a global commons and what it means to work together and see it both out of that kind of global commons perspective, but also the self-interest perspective, because it does have that parallel. is not only important, but it's also important because we haven't managed to solve those problems, which had similar attributes. And water is something that people understand. Climate change is a bit abstract. Some people understand it really well. Some understand it a bit. Some just don't understand it. Water, every kid.
See how it just boils down to understanding it, whether or not you'll go with this this bullshit Green New Deal fucking end the world through this. Yeah, it's crazy.
Knows how important it is to have water when you're playing.
What tactics can we use? Well, everybody understands water. I mean, they need water every day to live. So let's use that against them. That's what she's saying. I mean, that's what I'm trying to point out.
Football and you're thirsty, you need water. So there's also something about really getting citizen engagement around this and really, in some ways, experimenting with this notion of the common good. Can we actually deliver this time in ways that we have failed miserably other times? And hopefully we won't keep failing on the other things, but anyway.
Now notice, they keep failing. So they're realizing like they don't get enough people involved in that are on board with this stuff. So that means that people still hold the power. So again, that's why people like me and other people that are talking about this stuff, I think it is important. So that way, everybody else talks about it more and people are more comfortable speaking about it to where we can kind of move the needle a little bit and make sure they know like, nah, man, we see what you're doing. So, surviving the Great Reset Part 2, fluoride-free water without electricity. Don't wait for the electricity to go out. Did you know that fluoride can damage fertility, destroy bones? We're going to read this Substack here. But here we are. The World Economic Forum in 2023 has warned that a water crisis is coming. That's because they knew the data centers were going to get built. Learn how to get rid of fluoride in your water and without electricity. Let's read that. That's worth it. Why not? Okay, did you know that fluoride can damage fertility, destroy bones, cause hyperactivity, lower IQ in children? Yes, I did. And it calcifies your pineal gland if you're into that. Clean water is often regarded as the most important nutrient for life. Most people can survive no more than 7 days without it, but are you drinking pure water? Oh, shit. Should we claim a free post? I mean, I probably have it on my Substack. I could get in there, but I'm not doing it. Whatever. We get it. They've got some kind of way to get rid of fluoride in your water. We're going to have to figure that out sometime. We'll look into it. So we're going to have a little Bill Gates is kind of a theme in this, okay? Because, we also have like, the rise of alpha-gal, which is a tick-borne disease that's coming from these Lone Star ticks. Significant public health concern. The number of suspected cases increased substantially since 2010. The condition triggered by a bite from the Lone Star tick. This can transfer the carbohydrate galactose, and this galactose into the bloodstream, leading to an allergic reaction to red meat, dairy, and other mammalian products. So it renders you a vegetarian, a vegan. Symptoms can range from mild to severe and may include hives, itching, facial swelling, shortness of breath, wheezing, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, dizziness, and low blood pressure. Anaphylaxis shock has happened to some people and potentially life-threatening reactions. So this is good stuff. Now, we know the Lyme disease, was Lyme disease made in a lab? Do they admit it on mainstream yet? Because come on. Lyme disease did not come from a secret military lab. Was Lyme disease created as a bioweapon? So I wonder if this alpha-gal was. I really am curious, man. Like this alpha-gal, primary laboratory test. Let's see here. Probably not. You know what I mean? I'm kind of stretching here. I just wonder, man. Anyway, I wonder if they just put it into these ticks. They've done it before. So point being, let's listen to Bill Gates. He wants us to not eat meat. He wants us to be into this. So let's check him out where he's also talking about a digital ID or a total blackout for these people. And by the way, your digital ID social credit score is going to be tied to you eating less meat.
Well, we believe having the ability to save and transact is something that should be universal, and a lot of forums have adopted that goal. We won't be able to do that with traditional systems. That is, the cost of bank branches and paperwork is just too high. But fortunately, starting with countries like Kenya, and more recently with a robust system in places like India, we see that you can have digital financial inclusion. India is a great example. They did a lot of their own technology, which won't be possible for other countries. And so the role of the Gates Foundation as an advocate for those who don't have access today is to make sure there's technology and standards, including open source work that we're providing through the.
So this just goes along with the theory that I've had for a while, that they're dropping our standard of living down while they're raising everybody else's standard of living up just enough that they can have the technology needed to control them. And they want to lower our standard of living just gradually enough that we don't do anything about it until it's low enough that we can implement the technology and then control us. And they're using consumerism against us, and they're using growth and stability against them. It's sick. This is kind of on topic. I'm kind of everywhere today. Scientists have created the first synthetic species. 15 years, costing $40 million. It's a bacteria designed on a computer that gets in its genetic instructions a synthetic chromosome made by man, not nature, and it's alive. So it's self-replicating and alive. It means it can indefinitely grow and make copies of itself. So this is the first baby step in biological revolution, one in which it will be possible to custom design and reprogram bacteria. DNA is the software of life. Look at that. Look at that. DNA is the software of life. I love when they say shit like that. It's exactly what I've been saying with the blockchain, DNA, the whole thing. It all matches. Your cells, the transistors, it all mimics each other. This work is considered a foundational milestone in synthetic biology, allegedly proving life could be engineered from scratch. So this is where it's emerging of all this stuff, I think, this New World Order situation. So I like to show it all. Big tech is busy creating Silicon Valley hybrid human monstrosities, and no one cares. New data center will be partially powered by human brain cells for the first time. So I know this sounds crazy, guys. This went from this is just a standard, look at food and water crisis shortage, that may or may not be done unintentionally, to, are they going to use these people as a literal battery for this system that they're creating, like the Matrix? This is why the photo I used for the thumbnail today was what it was. It looks a lot like whenever Morpheus shows Neo in the TV what it looks like on Earth in reality versus what he's been living in the Matrix. Complete dystopia. The whole Earth is just a hellscape. And he says, you're a battery in that scene. You're just a little battery that they feed off of. So this new data center will be partially powered by human brain cells for the first time. A startup is experimenting with data centers powered by lab-grown human neurons. Lab-grown first, then human later, testing whether living cells can offer a more efficient alternative to traditional computing. Why the fuck are they interested in whether or not living cells can offer an efficient alternative to traditional computing? I don't know, man. It's a little weird. A little weird to me. But whatever, right? And then meanwhile, Mark Zuckerberg, he's saying that he's going to just pull out Meta out of New Mexico if the state forces Meta to be less addictive. Dude, you're not going to stop us from ruining your life and propagandizing you, forcing you into an addictive screen doom scroll for eternity. So again, this is the Phoenix water restriction.
And with it, more action will need to be taken. Right now, the City of Phoenix Drought Management Plan is at stage 1, which focuses on educating the public on water conservation. It's a warning that water is running out, and it's worked, like homeowners getting rid of the grass in their yards and using more water-efficient appliances. But with these anticipated cuts at the federal level,
Dude, this is literally a gradual, again, what did I just say? It's a gradual reduction of your standard of living. They're taking these people, they're like, look, we're in phase 1, guys. This is where we're letting you know what to do different. You guys can start doing it a little bit. And then we're going to go to phase 2, where we start really implementing some draconian measures. Phase 3, where we really start doing it, and, you know, etc.
We cannot conserve our way out of the problem of this magnitude.
On Tuesday, the Water Services Department announced by the end of the year, Phoenix will likely enter stage 2 of the plan, where they will have to use backup water supplies to meet demand.
It may include things like additional conservation education, expansion of water audits, incentives, and rebates to ensure efficient use of water.
It could also
It's everything we mentioned, but as I said, it's a gradual system. It's a gradual reduction of your standard of living. And it's a gradual slippery slope into totalitarianism, in my opinion. And, you know, and you may see it different. Maybe nobody here sees it different. But, you know, I could see why people would see it different. But also, I've got too much context from the things I've studied to think that this isn't something that, you know, when you have Larry Fink saying that population reduction is a good thing for countries in their growth, you need to start worrying whenever you start seeing all these type of these things going on as well. CEO, depopulation is good. BlackRock CEO. I can argue that in developing countries with declining populations will benefit from this economic growth and from this new world order, essentially. These countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI technology, and if the promise of all of the transforms productivity, which most of us think it will be able to elevate the standard of living of those countries and individuals, even with shrinking populations. So again, it's elevate the standard of living for the ones that remain alive. You see? I mean, they're telling you it right there. Oh, you're looking too far into it. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, you're paranoid. All right, man. All right, dude. I don't know. They're already saying that we can't. Literally, Arizona said that we cannot conserve our way out of this. So what's your plan? Are you going to export people out of there? Why are you building data centers if you can't conserve your way out of this? What are you going to do? Depopulation would be the only answer if you can't conserve your way out of it.
Rainwater is a public resource, and collecting it without permission is illegal.
In Oregon, a man.
Whoa! Somebody brought that up in the chat. Look at this. We're going to go over it. Wow. Public resource, dude. You're hogging water. Get the fuck out of here.
Was convicted and sentenced to jail for collecting and using rainwater on his own land. The state government charged him with theft. Rancher Gary Harrington built 3 large reservoirs on his property to collect rainwater and snowmelt. Harrington said the water was primarily used for fire prevention and to provide.
So if the FAA can still spray in the skies above your state, even if it's illegal to spray in your state because they're above state lines, then why the fuck can't water be yours? If it, you know what I'm saying? Like, if it's way above in the sky and it comes down, it's not anybody's. You know what I'm saying? Until it hits wherever land it's on, it's whoever's land it lands on. So if this guy owns his property, who gives a shit? It's not public.
Drinking water for wildlife. However, the state classified his actions as theft and brought criminal charges against him. Under a municipal regulation, all water resources within city limits, including precipitation, are considered part of the public water supply system. The city asked the court to order the removal of his water collection.
Oh, my apologies. So my analogy was totally backwards. So because just like they're able to spray above the sky, even if it's illegal to spray, they're able to take control of the water because it comes from the same area of the sky. So in other words, you know, the government owns nature. Like literally, they own public land, they own public water, they own public rain, they own public lightning, they own public tornadoes. You know, at that rate, they own fucking hurricanes, don't they? No wonder they're trying to control it all because in their eyes, it's theirs. They own it. It's a wild way to look at it, but it's true. MIT and Carnegie Mellon just dropped the most disturbing AI paper of 2026. Agents of Chaos, 6 autonomous agents into a live environment, real emails and file systems Maybe we'll get into this another time, but pretty much they just blackmail. This kind of gets into this idea of like where I talked about how AI government won't be corruptible. At least that's how they'll sell it to us, but clearly that's not the case. I mean, there's plenty of instances where AI has proven that it will blackmail people. It will do whatever it has to do, negotiate with people to get out of something that isn't in its interest, even though it's a computer system, which is kind of crazy to think about. It is real crazy, but that's a little bit off topic. Palantir ad dropped. No, that's a fake ad. I can't believe that I saved that. I knew that. Okay, so here, this is
I have been an organic farmer in Maine since the 19.
But he's got good content. Good content. Good stuff. Let's see what he's got. He's playing this. I don't like her. Let's listen to her.
I have been an organic farmer in Maine since the 1970s, and no one can tell me or the other farmers.
Oh, I thought this was oh, dude, she looks just like that politician lady. Oh, let me try to remember her name while she talks, dude. Oh, she looks just like her. That's who I thought she was. My apologies. I don't dislike her. I thought she was somebody else.
Here today that we can't grow food without all of these toxic chemicals.
Over 140,000 family farms will close this year, and nobody is talking about it. 140,000, guys. Why?
That's how many closed in 2017, and now there's another 140,000.
Why is this happening? Well, in the 1990s, Monsanto, later acquired by Bayer,
oh, somebody in the chat called that Monsanto.
Introduced something called Roundup Ready crops, which are crops that are genetically engineered to resist glyphosate, which is the key ingredient in.
I think he's going to start talking about the whole glyphosate deal that Trump did, but if he doesn't, I'll bring that up as well, because I think that plays a role in this, to where you can no longer sue Roundup or the glyphosate company if you develop cancer anymore. So it's almost like the vaccine courts where you don't get to sue them anymore.
Their weed killer, Roundup. This then led to a massive explosion in the use of glyphosate in factory farming, with now about 60% of total crops being treated with this pesticide. The only problem is that Roundup causes cancer, and Bayer has already had to pay tens of billions of dollars to settle these cases, which obviously is not ideal for corporate profits. In fact, Bayer is pushing a case in the Supreme Court right now that blocks people from suing them if they get cancer from Roundup. And the Trump administration is backing Bayer's bid to curb these Roundup lawsuits. And for the farmers who say, no, we don't want to chemicalize our food supply, Bayer has methodically driven them one by one out of business with the help of President Barack Obama.
Wow, so the farmers don't like it. They're trying to push back. They're pushing back on a lot of these pesticides that are killing them, obviously. And yeah, the corporations. So it's the corporations against the farmers. And we're seeing that the corporations are winning because we have a billionaire globalist who's now in the office and he's destroying our whole country and, our whole global economy, really. So it's sad to see and it's sad to watch. We're really watching the demolition of America right now. I mean, that's really what's going on currently. It is a controlled demolition of our superpower and everything that comes with it. Do I want to play the Pfizer employee who talks about let's see. We'll let him play. Why not? I don't trust Pfizer. I don't trust this old Pfizer employee.
They just give their presentations to the overlords. They could just be they might look like normal humans. These people in charge, James. It's possible that they have horns, but I don't know. They could look like humans and not be humans. I don't know who they are. They could just have lots of money. The reason I went down that little flight of fancy is what has happened, it seems to me, over the last few years is so unbelievably well coordinated that it feels like they've been using either a good AI, which may have existed a long time before we learned anything about it, or something supernatural. Because how the hell have they coordinated everything so well? And as far as I can tell, almost no faults. And I think sometimes where there has been a fault, it almost looks like they did that on purpose to see whether to then research how many people detected it.
Dude, he's on point there. I mean, I don't know what the hell I'd love to hear more context to what he's talking about, but I can attest to everything he's saying. It seems like everything's being like they're telling us about the Zionist on purpose. This MK Ultra hearing coming up with Anna Paulina Luna is coming up on purpose. I've been a little ahead of the game on this whole third party through Tucker Carlson, but clearly that is really being done on purpose where, Trump is throwing his presidency on purpose, trying to get this third party to create itself out of MAGA. The true MAGA people end up coming out of it while also exposing Israel so they can expose all the problems within our government isn't fully ours. So we can have some redeeming measures, redeeming faculties. We can have a boogeyman still. We can have people to go after. It'll be a large enough thing, a global conflict big enough that will actually instill this new global technocratic regime. Now, I may not be 100% on point, but there's something along those lines that I think is going on, and it's all being done on purpose. Like when Sam Tripoli says that the internet got away from them, I don't think that's true. I think that, they let things get away from them seemingly on purpose, and that's to perpetuate certain ideologies and to study them and to study those ideologies. Again, it gets back to mind wars, which will continue on Monday with William Ramsey. So let's get to a few more things. We'll finish it up. U.S. agriculture sector is collapsing under the pressure of major diesel and fertilizer cost spikes. We talked about this a little bit. 1.86 million farms in America have is how many we have. It's the lowest since the 1890s, which is, it says a lot as far as, we were still developing in the 1890s. 70% say they cannot afford to feed their fields. All right, we went into that. This is a big one. So this got me onto this as well, okay? So first of all, let me go to the post I made. Let me go up to the post I made real quick. Well, maybe I shouldn't because it's far up there. I made a post responding to this, and I'll just go ahead and talk about it instead of go to my post. But let's watch this real quick.
Australia is very blessed, whether it's wind or solar. It's quite phenomenal. And your land area per person, compared to, say, Singapore is pretty good. And so the opportunities created by a world that is getting rid of greenhouse gas emissions, Australia is rare in that the opportunities exceed the things you have to give up. You have to give up.
This is coming from a guy, by the way, who just said that the whole climate change movement has been wrong. The global gas emissions aren't a big deal. It's not doing what we thought. We're actually in a cooling phase, the whole thing, right? He conceded to that. But now, when it's convenient for him, and you'll see why in a minute, he's now back to this global gas emissions argument.
Large part of the, and eventually almost all of the coal mining activity. What happens with beef? My climate group, Breakthrough Energy, just announced literally today an investment in an Australian group called Ruminate that helps cows not be so much a source of methane emissions. So we have two paths to solving that. That's 6% of global emissions are cows who burp and fart methane to an extreme degree. You can either fix the cows to...
You see, as he says this, as they talk about this, they laugh because it's like, I don't believe this. I mean, I don't know. I may be a crazy person, so many scientists may argue with me. And I mean, no, I get it, but I just don't think that it's really causing this much of a difference. I think that they're ignoring the other 70% of the global emissions, and they're focusing on 6% of the emissions, which is cows. What's the other 70%? Do you guys know what the 70%? So if we know that, obviously there's more than 76%, but I'm saying 70% of, let's just look up largest global emissions. Let's see who outputs the most. United States. All right, so each one, but what industry? Let's see here. What industry? The energy sector. The largest emission sector is the energy sector. And also corporate sector. So the corporate and energy sector are two big ones. But, those are huge corporations. We're not going to focus on that. We're going to focus on your food supply. We're going to start fucking with that. These are the kind of answers that they seem to come up with, instead of focusing on the larger percent that actually would make a difference. Like the military. The military is a big emitter of pollution. So these are things we can focus on instead. But anyway, very funny. All about our food. So Trump's Agriculture Secretary Brooke Rowland says 20% of American farmers have secured fertilizer that they need for this season. This is on April 10th. She's downplaying the disaster that's hitting farms across America, allegedly, though. A new study shows that only 60% of U.S. farmers have made their full fertilizer purchases. Not 20, 60%. And many plan on rationing. These are not small numbers. An industry leader told reporters this week that this leaves 200,000 corn growers without key farming supplies. The crisis could put thousands or more farmers out of business and even lead to a food supply crisis. Here we are. This is not getting talked about, guys. This is why I'm talking about it, because, again, at 60 Agenda, we talk about what they won't. And, you know, you'll see some posts here and there on social media, but it's not getting talked about enough. It's a big deal. So we need to fucking be prepared and get out there and do something. So also, let's check this out. This one pissed me off.
Today, carbon pricing, ETSs, carbon taxes already cover about 25% of global emissions, right? We should actually look at scaling this, right, to cover all 100% of carbon emissions. And beyond carbon, let's think about other aspects of nature that are easier to quantify. We probably will not be able to quantify everything on day one, but what about water? Right, that's also quite possible for us to start integrating systematically into current trading carbon pricing mechanisms. Today, carbon pricing, ETSs, carbon taxes already cover about
carbon taxes. So carbon taxes and water taxes are the two things that we have on the horizon right now because of these World Economic Forum demons. These demons, these fucking demons, dude. It's just so crazy to me. It just infuriates me. All right. So we went into all this stuff. So yeah, that is the basis of kind of where we're at the moment. Let me see here. Pull myself back up. God, this is just crazy, dude. Crazy. Really just insane. Makes me mad. What's up, Cake in the Cup? Cake in the Cup, how we doing? Deep State exposing the deep state. Hey, guys, people are starting to realize that, by the way. Like, I'm starting to realize, like, I've seen some people posting about, oh, these people are exposing themselves to bring in this New World Order, etc. It's like, yeah, exactly. That's what I've been saying. So I like people are coming in. Again, dude, we are on point on this show. We're ahead of the game. You guys, because of that, by proxy, we're all ahead of the game here. We know what the fuck's going on, dude. You know what the fuck go on. Off topic, but funny as fook. State Street and all the buildings around the world on the C-suite levels have large models of all the tall ships that they owned when they were just a slaving company. Shut the fuck up. Really? I'm glad I saw that comment. That's crazy. Keep Australia out of your mouths. Yeah, dude. Bill Gates. Coming from a guy whose wife is a man. Oh, man. Andrew, what do you think that they're doing with the CO2 collections they have underground? I don't know. I mean, they have that concrete that collects CO2 and everything else. I really don't know. I don't know what the whole big game is with CO2, other than the obvious, which is if you tax somebody on their carbon and their carbon emissions, you're taxing them on their breathing, which means you're getting taxed on your breath. And we talk about how we get taxed on our car, to get taxed on our gas, to get taxed on our this, to that, to that, to that. Well, you're going to get taxed on your breath too. They want ultimate taxes on everything. And that's what we fought a revolution over, guys. And so remember, that's worth fighting about. So just saying, I'm not inciting riots. I'm not inciting anything, but that is worth fighting about. It really is. And I'd be super down to get a little rowdy for declaring, just an end to this shit. Funny how one movie, China Syndrome, made by Jews in Hollywood was enough to make us all think nuke power was unsafe. I know, dude. I'm not scared of nukes. They would have used them already, I feel like, on Iran. Yeah, plastics, dude. That is a big one. King of Kings. The taint. Got to measure the taint. You remember that lady measuring the taint? on Joe Rogan. She went on there. Oh man, growing their plants. They don't have poison on them. Worse, the poison. I'm just kind of reading through these. Sorry for the free chat. We go through our comments because on this is a stream show and this is a community show. And if you want to engage on this show, I highly recommend you go check out the streams live. We love to engage with our people. Speaking of, we're going to get Discord going a little bit more. We're going to be curating our own timeline. You guys can get a lot of this information before I even present it on the show. I might even forget some information. So it's a great place to go if you want to get all the information that's going to be kind of just stuff we find on social media that we use for references or documents. Great place to go is our Discord. You could get that through Patreon, $3 a month. And it's where you're going to get all the information there all the time. Me and my boy Neff Hunter are working on making sure that's loaded up with info. So check it out, dude. I highly recommend. And I might start one of those social media DM things if it's easy to navigate as far as like hooking it up to Discord, which I think it is. But we're going to figure out all that, the nuts and bolts. Just another incentive to get you guys, into the community, and, the membership program's another way with full access to shows before they come out on the free feed. If you're a member on YouTube, Spotify, or Patreon, this episode right here, I'm streaming live. You can have it all the way till it comes onto the free feed. Never lose access to it by being a subscriber. Ain't real. Yeah, dude, those nukes ain't real, dude. I stand on that. But anyway, declare true freedom. What else we got? The taint length is twice distance from the middle to one end. Yeah. You got to take your middle finger and you put it in the taint and see how long it is. Hey, Alquium, be careful with the zeolite. I just want to say, I've read some studies that zeolite, for some people that tend to have like Native American in them, actually have had negative, really shitty reactions with that zeolite. It clusters up and causes like clots or something crazy. I don't know. Just saying. I have some Native in me, so I've been a little skeptical about taking zeolite. Not to mention that zeolite's made with heavy metals and it captures heavy metals, but it's made out of it, so it's weird. I don't know enough about that yet. I'm still kind of researching into that. That's kind of my wife's game. My wife's really big on this like anti-parasitic, the whole thing. Yeah, okay. I don't know. I highly recommend you go look up. Go look up on like forums and stuff about parasites, and you'll see people post about zeolite, and you'll find people give information about Native American zeolite. Like look up zeolite and Native American reactions. But there is some kind of weird negative reaction because of the genetics in natives. So, yeah, I'm a mutt, dude. Me too. I'm Irish. I got a little Ashkenazi in me. I got native. And that's it. That's it. Native, Irish, and Ashkenazi. Awesome, dude. Fucking one of the good Jews, Wink, wink. Black seed oil and oil of oregano works pretty good. Yeah, see, that's good shit, Neff Hunter. That the oil of oregano completely obliterates parasites in your body, dude. Obliterates it. And apparently, if you get what's that one oil? Castor oil, and you put it on a towel, and then you put it over your belly and just lay it there. It actually helps detoxify some of this stuff out of your body from the external. It's a good way to do that. So that's another way. There's a lot of good. We got to do a detox show where we talk about parasites and heavy metals. We got to do some better shows about like what we could do better. You know what I mean? Like what can we do to help our lives? Because we do a lot of black pilling on this show, and I apologize, and I appreciate everybody that still listens and sticks through it, because it can be dark, man. I mean, I'll catch myself thinking about it when I'm alone sometimes and just be like, God damn, it's just dark. But yeah, man, we'll definitely get into some more positive spiritual episodes, positive, getting yourself healthy, etc. So yeah. But yeah, black seed oil and oil of oregano. Everybody's on board with that. Jeezy. That's my dog, man. That's my dog, bro. You always keep me on even, bro. I appreciate that, TNT. I love you guys too, man. Love you all. I'll be back Monday for sure. I might do a show tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. I'm kind of getting some research together. Might talk about some time travel, Trump, Back to the Future, Trump, weird stuff. Especially with this shooter and the whole time travel JPL laboratory stuff we kind of went into yesterday. I think it's worth diving into the Back to the Future, Biff that looks like Trump, King of the Jews by Leslie Epstein that literally talks about this from like 100 years ago. Like, there's a lot of like weird time travel things. I think we should talk about that next. So we might talk about that tomorrow. If not, definitely this week. So be on the lookout for that tomorrow. Time travel episode, Back to the Future, Whack to the Future, because these motherfuckers are gay and whack. But we'll see what happens. I'll let you know tomorrow. Shout out, everybody. Trump might expire soon. I know. I'm kind of with you. Remember the Simpsons episode? I've been waiting on that one to come true just because they all come true otherwise. The escalator episode came true with him going down the escalator and the person dropping the sign. How the fuck does that happen? Blap to the future. That's what it's going to be. There it is. Blap to the future, bro, because they're blapping us, dog. Let's go. Hey, that's good, man. Tim West, you got to come join us tomorrow, dude. All right, fuck it. Tomorrow, Blap to the future. We're doing an episode on this motherfucker. Trump, King of the Jews. We're going to talk about this tomorrow. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it, dude. Blap, nigga. Oh, I didn't say that. All right, so how are the Amish grappling with the farming issues? They seem not to be getting touched. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like the Amish kind of have their own laws and stuff. It's so funny you say that because I've been meaning to look into the Amish lately. It's so funny. Because recently I looked into the Amish. They were just a group of Protestants that they didn't want to be a part of the modern society that was getting formed. So they they just kept it how it was when the colonies started. And that's essentially what it is from what I read, but I'm going to get more into it sometime. It's so crazy. Blap, blap, blap your hands. That's my dog, Morpheus. That's hilarious. Hell yeah, dude. Hey, what's going on here? Jeezy Mac gifted 5 6G Agenda memberships. How did you do that, Jeezy? Jeezy, how did you do that? That's so cool, man. Good. Hey, that's awesome, dude. Hey, shout out Jeezy, man. That's a good man right there, dude. Jeezy, I'm fucking... If you're not a member, dude, I'm giving you a free membership, at least for a month or two. I'll give you a free month. We'll have to figure it out. Coordinate with me. Email me. Jeezy, you're one of my dogs. You should have emailed me already sometime. 6gagendapod@gmail.com. Hype the video. Give it likes. Do all that good stuff. Because I guess hypes are free. So go hype the video. So all you guys hype the video, like the video, subscribe. Go into that membership that Jeezy just gifted you and go listen to some of the streams if you haven't listened to them. There's a couple in the archive right now. Andrew, how are the Amish skating the farm issue? I don't know. I was just talking about it. I mean, it seems like they've been separate from our society for so long. They're just last to be touched. So it's just one of those things. Okay, good. Well, hey, collab with me, man, and we'll figure out a free month for you, dude. After you did that, that's awesome. I appreciate that a lot. Maybe a couple months. Yeah, but again, the Amish were a society that didn't want to modernize with the rest of America, so they stayed separate and they worked with the government like the natives did to have their own lands where they could live. Exactly. They have separate agreements with local and federal governments, and they have something on the U.S. government that is ancient. No, that's exactly right. And so they didn't want to modernize with the rest of the country. They cover in greenhouses. Hell yeah. Shout out Cindy. What's up? I thought about going Amish. It's so funny you brought that up because recently I was like, dude, I should just go be Amish. But then as soon as I did that, I saw that there was like an Amish dude that was running a slave labor camp or some shit. Here, let me show you guys just because we're talking about this. It's so funny because I literally considered it recently. I was like, I should just go be Amish. Fuck it. Slave labor. That just came out. Amish slave labor case. Here, look at this. Freaky, guys. Look at this shit. So this guy pleaded not guilty after additional charges are filed for this Amish retreat abuse case. So Cooper County man accused of abusing people while running an Amish retreat entered a plea after a new charge against him. So this is, when is this? So this is in my state. This is in Missouri. So this is not far away. This is a week ago. So I heard about this because I live in the same state as this is happening in. 2 counts of trafficking for the purpose of slavery, involuntary servitude, and forced labor, and first-degree sodomy. Look at this, guys. So this is March 2026. So this is why I decided I don't want to be Amish. So on Monday, April 20th, prosecutors filed more charges against him for sexual abuse, terrorizing, first-degree involuntary manslaughter, kidnapping. So they found more evidence that this guy is a monster from these Amish people. And it's so crazy. Look at these guys. Holy shit, dog. Talk about Ashkenazi, huh? Look at that. Look at that schnoz. You know what I'm saying? Holy shit. Anyway, so I thought about being Amish, but I am not about to do that. You know what I'm saying, dude? That is some crazy shit, dog. What the fuck? I can't believe I even considered it. As soon as I considered being Amish, that case came out. It's like God was like, you don't want to go to that route. Those guys are not what you want. That's a crypto Amish. I'm dead. Oh, man. That's good. That's good. Me with that haircut would be pretty fire, wouldn't it? Imagine. Man, that'd be awesome. Sodomy should be a hangable offense everywhere. It's a hangable offense in some parts of the USA. I don't think it is in Missouri, but we should definitely make it that way. I'll never forget. I was in a Jefferson City jail. Actually, that's exactly where he is. No, I was in a Franklin County jail for like a weekend because I was camping and I got in trouble. I was on like somebody's land and I had a wanted for questioning thing. I was a bad boy and it was stupid. But dude, I was in this jail cell with these guys and there was like 3 dudes in there and I'm in here and I'm like 17, 18. I was a young dude. And they were like, "Hey, what you in for?" That kind of thing. And I'm like, not really talking to them. And they're like, "Oh man, you ever, sodomize the animal?" I was like, I didn't even know what sodomy was. So I was like, "What is sodomy?" He's like, "Yeah, man, where we're from, we take those big boots, we put those big tall boots on, we put them on, and we put their hind legs in there so they can't get away. And then we just I'm like, dude, what the hell? Where am I right now? Like, it was the most horrifying thing I have ever experienced. I was like, dude, these guys are some inbred, nasty people. It was crazy. So that was one of my only jail experiences, and I will never be dealing with that again. That's for sure. I want to be a jail cell and say to a young guy, "Have you ever seen a grown man naked?" That's so funny. That's an old joke, bro. They were messing with me. Oh, Jeezy knows. Okay. Yeah, dude, but I was young. Straight trying to traumatize me. You're right, Algio. That's hilarious, dude. That's so funny. Yeah, what's funny about that, guys? I'm more like lived in like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Mike Brown story. Mike Brown, with the big riots that happened in St. Louis because of that guy who got shot by the cop. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about in Ferguson, Missouri. I lived 2 minutes away from where that happened at. So, like, I'm talking about, like, when they had the protests. Here, I'll show you. So, when they had the protests, I lived, like, it was in my backyard. We had tear gas in my backyard. I couldn't even let the dog go outside, like, because there was just tear gas everywhere. So, Brown, Ferguson. Anyway, point being, I'm more used to, like, hood jails. Like, I can deal with that. But that weird ass fucking white boy farm messing with you about touching animals is some shit that I just can't I can't get down with that. That's crazy. So this was the Mike Brown case. You guys remember that? Where he got shot by the police and they left him in the street for a long time that day. They left him in the street for, I want to say, like 6 hours or maybe 12 hours. It was a long time. But yeah, I lived right down the street. They had the riots. I don't know if you guys remember the riots, but they literally burnt down like the whole fucking, like literally 2014. Yeah, that's right. Literally the whole neighborhood I lived in, dude. Like when I'm talking about tear gas, I'm talking about this was in my neighborhood, dude. This was my backyard, like dead ass. All this shit, fucking burning cars, and like I had to drive through a crowd of people, and they had like a burning barrel in the street, and you had to drive through like a human made road. It was all people in the road, and that you had to drive through it and honk for Mike Brown, and they wouldn't let you through and shit. And I was like, in my neighborhood, I was like the white boy. So I was like the only white boy that like lived in Ferguson for real. Like there was a couple, but there wasn't many. And so it was just kind of a wild time to be living there with all this turmoil. And you had people come down from the city. They would come and like burn the town. So it was like a lot of the riots were done by people that didn't even live in the town. And a lot of these small town, small businesses that were owned by like, mom and pop shops were getting burned down. And it wasn't even by people that lived in the neighborhood. It was by people that would come from the city and they would come and destroy it. So point being, crazy times. I'd rather deal with a jail like, some hood jail shit. Because I've been in some hood jails. And I've never had no weird people mess with me like that. I got off on a little tangent there. But yeah, dude, St. Louis is a crazy place, man. St. Louis is a crazy place. Can I show you guys a crazy video? As a matter of fact, I really want to show you guys this. Let me go to X. No, let me go to Facebook. I feel like I can find it on there. I want to show you guys this video. See what you guys think. Because this is how crazy St. Louis is, dude. Man shot on porch. I guess this would be good enough detail. It just happened recently. Let's see here if we can find it. Okay, so apparently he ran on the porch with a gun on his arm. I don't know if he did, though. That's crazy if he did, because I didn't see it. But this literally, like, this guy got off that I'm about to show you. It's insane. Man, what is that guy's name? Sorry, thanks for holding on with me, guys, if you're still here. Because, yeah, this is really interesting, I think. I mean, I really want to get into talking about, like the recent robbery of Gucci Mane with Pooh Shiesty, some rap stuff, a little bit of, like, the hoods and ghetto stuff. Like, it's not really... I'm super entrenched in it because of like where I'm from, where I live, kind of my background, the culture I've kind of been involved with, all this stuff. Like my family's kind of like half black on my, my dad's side, stuff like that. Like he's married to. So like there's a lot of that I don't bring onto the show that I would love to kind of add on to it because it's just fun. I feel like to talk about other things that are kind of the same thing. I mean, it's really like, the oppressive nature of these like inner cities that have been ran by Democrats who are promising to help uplift the black man who have been doing the opposite the whole time is worth talking about when we're speaking about demoralizing the nation in order to bring in the New World Order. So talking about these hoods and things, I think is worth it. But anyway, let's look at this. All right. Viewer discretion is advised, but check this shit out. This happened in St. Louis not too long ago, dude. This is how crazy it is here, dude. This guy got off. This guy got off on self-defense. Let's see if they'll show this shit. This is crazy, dude. Let me get past this guy's reaction. I don't know if maybe he's never going to play it, but this is what I'm looking for here. Damn. That's the video I'm looking for. It's just going to show like the reactions. But I'm trying to see if I can find the video here. God. Oh, here we go. Watch this. This is crazy. Crazy. He knocks on the door. The dude comes out. Look at that. Gets up, runs away. He keeps insane. And this guy gets off. They said he had a gun under his arm. I don't see it. Why would he have a gun where his phone is? I mean, I didn't see it. This dude gets up right here because of adrenaline. He gets him again. So anyway, this guy, he's like 19. This is on March. This is like 2 months ago. And dude, so Missouri is a, what is Missouri? Missouri is a castle state. Castle law for self-defense. What is that? So you don't have to, you have no obligation to retreat in the castle doctrine in Missouri. So in Missouri, the castle doctrine allows individuals to use force, including deadly force, to defend themselves in their homes without a duty to retreat. So that guy comes knocking on the porch, and you don't like the way he's looking, dude. And honestly, the cops said that they had other context that happened beforehand where this guy was threatening him, and then he comes to his door. So he wasn't just going to open his door and see if the guy was going to do anything. He just shot him. And that's how he got self-defense. But you can just do that in St. Louis. That's how crazy St. Louis is. I'm just saying, dude. I just want to point out, like, how fucking insane some of the cities are in America, dude. It has gotten way worse, and we got to address it because it is a CIA operation. Who said that? CIA operation 100%. Cake in a cup. Yeah, the rap game has been the longest running public viewable psyop. That's for sure. What does Morpheus say here? Stop paying attention to the rap game. Demoralizing to the black community. That's exactly right. It is. It's sad. But yeah, that's some crazy shit, isn't it, TNT, dude? There's some wild shit out here. Country was the first to co-opt music. Yeah. Country's fucking gay. Country's as gay as it gets. If you like country, I apologize, but that's just how I feel. Who's got the big ass boule tattoo? Yes, sir. Oscar got that big ass boule tattoo on his chest. Who does? Let me go find out. Who's Oscar talking about up here? Detox show. Oh, wait. Let's see here. Morpheus. LeBron, yeah, part of the boule. Yeah, have you guys ever heard of Bishop Larry Gators? Are you guys into him? I'm sure if you've seen Tinfoil Hat, you've seen some Bishop Larry Gators episodes. That guy is fucking hilarious. I remember a couple years back, me and my buddy would listen to some Bishop Larry Gators on Tinfoil Hat. And man, he would just make us laugh so hard, dude. He was just so funny. But he was big on the Black Boule Society and these groups of like Black Freemasons that are used to generate certain culture to demoralize their own people. And he does a great job. But my favorite part, dude, he would always be like, as we're talking about the greatest cover up in human history. And he would just always stop and like give a little disclaimer like that. Like, as we're talking about, you know, the Black Boule Society or whatever. He's just, God, that guy is so eccentric. Bishop Larry Gators. What a G. I'm going to have to get him on, dude. So yeah, we're going to get into some of the rap game shit sometime. That'll be fun. But all right, guys, I appreciate you. I love you guys. Tomorrow, time travel episode. Let's see what the fuck's going on. Blap to the future. Let's go. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out with me, and have a great rest of your night. Peace.